Where's Paco at? Paco? Paco's here? What's going on? We got a live tonight? I didn't really have time. Here's the deal. I'm real tired. I'm real tired tonight. I gotta get my act together. I was up late. There was a lightning delay. Kept me up later than expected. Woke up early, like I always do. And got stimmed out a couple times at work, before and during. And just highs and lows when you do that kind of thing. So I didn't really have time to mess around with the paintings. I just, assembled a few dragons in the background here. Dragon Lord kind of exists. Not really. It's kind of out there. Kind of isn't. The Wyvern, he's out there. He's a one-man show, though. That is the real deal, original from, of course, Arthurian Legends, which does exist out there. That actually is present in the real world. All right, so Steamroll's here. Steamroll's here, which reminds me, we do have a live auction going on right now that is not yet over. So we are at, let me see what's going on here. What's going on? We had an extension. It's the Meadow Witch. Where is that Meadow Witch? I think she's on my shelf over here. I could show her if you guys want to see her one more time. Maybe I should in the spirit of the live auction that's happening right now. That was supposed to end at 9er, but got extended to 9er 40 for now. I think, right? Yeah. Oh, wait. I forgot to make a final 10 minutes announcement. So I'm going to say final 6 minutes. I did forget to declare that. Any new bids will extend the auction 10 minutes. All right, so here's the deal. If we have more live action before 9:40, we get an extension to 9:50. So I do have to multitask, which is difficult. It's challenging mentally, to be honest, especially when you sleep very little and it compounds for an entire week. So what I got to do is get this overhead cam ready because we have some interesting stories to tell. Actually, how's the audio right now, by the way? Did I select the right mic? You can never be too sure about such a thing. Let me show the comments on the screen. All right, so we got that. We got Omega Zool. Diamond hands, he says. It's a good point. Usually is true. Agent Paco Live was asking where I was at. This is valid. I see I did not get the axe tool out, so that's another thing I got to do. Steamroll's been keeping me busy. Also true. I like Steamroll's taste. Yeah. And art, Steamroll, man. He has quite a collection going for sure. So he may or may not win the Meadow Witch, which is an original painting by the great Andrina Jardim. A real special one because it is her first ever original painting offer, possibly ever. I'm not sure. I mean, honestly, I don't know that she was really selling originals ever, to my knowledge. I should ask her that question. But she's been specializing. She has done personal paintings as originals, but she doesn't have like a large portfolio of originals, to my knowledge. I've seen a few. Absolutely beautiful because she's an amazing talent. I think probably one of the best artists out there, in my opinion. Certainly one of the best altarists for sure. So she does altar cards, and she was doing altars on Magic cards, and then we got her into Sorcery Contested Realm, and of course she's doing absolutely amazing things with Sorcery altars. So she's not a commissioned artist for Sorcery. She has been doing altars on Sorcery cards, and she is now a commissioned artist for Legend CCG. So the Meadow Witch original painting by Andrina Jardim of the Alterland is going to be in an emerging game that's in very early development. And it's timely to talk about that because we're going to talk about some very early development cards on tonight's live show in our probably 1+ hour intro before we get into an alpha box break. And it's the very early stages of Legend CCG, kind of like it was for Sorcery around 2020 to 2022 timeframe. And Josh is the creator of that game. He's commissioned about 100 paintings so far. So it sounds like there's going to be a big debut set with a lot of original hand-painted art and a lot of really, really great artists. So I don't want to slip up here because I think I'm aware of maybe a few artists that have not been announced. But artist for Legends CCG, we're going to have Andrina Jardim was commissioned to do Legends. You might see other alterists. There's a lot of great artists from different walks of life, different genres. There is Alan Pollock from Magic and Sorcery. There's Elvira Polakowska from Sorcery. There is, I'm trying to just go with artists you guys know from Sorcery or Magic. There's a lot of great artists, you know, just taking an approach very similar to Eric with a lot of great artist talent that he's identifying. And who else is in there? Alan Pollock, Elvira Polakowska. There's a licensed piece from Severin Pinel. So some of the greats of Sorcery. That's going to be really incredible. What's up, Easy 5 Display? Just talking about Legends CCG for a bit because there is a original painting that might close in 2 minutes, although someone might be typing in a bit as we speak. I see that the channel is telling me someone is typing. So we might get another extension to 950. If we do, I will have to get it out and show it again, which maybe I'll do anyway, because it's Andrina and she's the GOAT. All right, hang on. I got to get the overhead mic ready. Overhead camera, excuse me. I don't think good. Sometimes I don't think good. All right. So we got that button. Does things. You click one of those. Insert it. All right. Overhead cam. Touch of alignment. Oh, we got an extension. All right. So we got an extension. Is that valid? 62 plus 25 is 87. Indeed. All right. So we got an extension to what, guys? 940 plus 10 is 950. All right. Whoa. Did things just get blurry, or is that me? Is my camera blurry? Can you guys see my face clearly? What happened there? Is it there we go. I'm back. All right. Was that my eyes or is that my camera? Someone say something, for God's sake. Come on. It's a live show. It's supposed to be interactive. All right. Extra camera, ZV1. Get it up there. Do one of those. Got the label maker. Oh! It just shut itself off. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people on the Wheel of Names tonight. US Open. All right, since we got Easy 5 display, we do have the Easy 5 display. New frames, landscape layout. See? Easy 5 display. These are individual card displays. So you could take a landscape card. By the way, this one did not hit reserve, the Bog. So this is available. I actually offered this with the Pond playmat, which ironically matched the color palette of this card shockingly well. Like it was like almost by design, but except it wasn't, of course, because Marta painted this long before I had the sample print of the playmat that Sam McKinnon did for Pond. So it's really ironic. I offered it with the playmat, but there wasn't a lot of bid interest on this. Maybe there were 4 auctions, I think, tonight, so maybe it was just too much. But I think I'm going to offer this for a fixed price. If anyone wants to claim this, let's say $300 for the altar, and I will include the Pond playmat by Sam McKinnon. Or actually, it's his art, Pond, but I had it printed and it's a sample print. I'm working with the manufacturer to tweak the colors to make it a little more true to the original painting of Pond. So if anyone wants this altar and the Pond playmat sample, I'll send it to you for $300 even. Pond. It's a Pond card. It's by Marta Molina, this altar. All right, so we got that. We got the Philo Stone Alpha that just ended. It's topped out at $3,001. So I think someone was kind of playing with reserve, trying to see if we would trigger reserve there at 3,000. Didn't quite. It was a bit higher than that, the reserve. So the way the auctions work, if the reserve is not met, what I do is I talk to the top top bidders, you know, starting with the highest bidder has first right of refusal at the reserve price. And if he declines, we go down the list. Sometimes you just reach an agreement between seller and top bidder, and that's what happened in this case. So I will be packing this up and shipping this off to the top bidder. So congratulations. This is a gorgeous version, alpha foil version of Philosopher's Stone. Only 248 of these printed based on the box print number and the pull rates. We know there's 248 of the alpha foil Philo Stone. I've pulled 2 on the channel. This is one I sold via consignment, just ran an auction, just ended, and just sold it. So it's in gorgeous condition. I don't know if the buyer is into grading, but I think this will grade extremely well. When I did the video short, you guys can go see it on Instagram and also the Collector Art House YouTube channel under the shorts version. It was the light. I have this like very harsh overhead lighting. That's why my face is like extra albino pale, right? Because I have this light like beaming down on my desk. And I did a video short where I was kind of I took my phone actually, and I was doing like the very fine like video to show the condition of it, and it was picking up a little glint of light up here. But you could see, I don't know how well you can see here under the lighting of the overhead cam, but it was catching a little glint of light, which tells me maybe it has an extremely small micro indentation, but I cannot really visibly see it with the naked eye. So it's kind of a curious thing. I almost faintly can maybe in the right lighting. So I'm not sure that it would grade like a perfect PSA 10, but it's extremely nice surface condition, and centering, it looks like, is pretty darn good. I don't see really any surface issues at all, and the edging is very strong. So I think this will grade very well if the guy's into that. And another thing I notice is oftentimes you guys see on the alpha foil prints, the foil on the text is sometimes very smudged, you know? It's not like super sharp and clean printed. There's often like a lot of like just extra foil on there. And here you see the text is very sharp on this version of the foil stone. So I think that was a really great buy. Now, so Steamroll, when I did the video short, I did it with unsleeved. I just laid it on a playmat or on like a binder, so it had a nice black surface. So there wasn't any penny sleeve or top loader. I wanted to make sure that it wasn't like a, something to do with the penny, like you say. So there's that. And what I was going to do with the bog actually was slide it into Easy 5 Displays frame here. Oh, I forget. So this one is a not a top loader. The other manufacturer I've been talking with, he has a top loader loading concept. This one just takes it in a penny sleeve or raw, I guess, if you wanted to. But you can slide that right in with a penny sleeve. And there you go. Fits perfectly. You don't see any extra. So it's a nice design, nicely measured. And this is a cool concept. Really more designed maybe for the Dragon Lord mini set. That's why you have all the dragon eggs and the dragon hatching, and also the 2 dragons on the side. So really cool display design. I think Easy 5 Display is going to be offering those pretty soon, he said, on like a website or something, I suppose. So more to come on that. But he sent me a few samples of those. I got like 4 samples of these. So maybe what I'll do, if anyone's interested, I don't know. Maybe we'll do a giveaway, or maybe like with some of the upcoming alters and artist proofs and stuff. Maybe I'll ship off some of those to you good people. All right, guys. So a few things. If hey, what Fab Rock? Dude, I went to the car shop locally, and the guys from I think either he or his wife are from Rochester or like somewhere in upstate New York, maybe Buffalo proper, So I was telling him I was like a diehard Bills fan growing up in Rochester, New York, and still am. Big game Sunday night, man, against the Ravens. So hopefully you're getting tuned up and going to that. You're going to enjoy it. All right, guys. So we're at 1,700 on a card we're going to talk about in a little bit. So let me update that. I got the wheel prepared. Oh, Paco's a Bills fan? Paco's doing some nice stuff. Paco might be my first employee. I don't know if he wants to collab. We might have to talk. About that, Paco. I don't know what you do for a living, but if you want a little side thing and you got some skills, we might have to talk. because I might need some help with a few things. All right, so we're at 1,700 on what? The Eric's Curiosa playtest. So an interesting story on that one. I'm going to showcase the history of Eric's Curiosa, the card, and talk about some really remarkable findings. And also show a bunch of Vincent Pompetti artist proofs in a moment. And maybe we'll show some Alvera Palikowska ones that I have left as well. All right, so we're at 1,700 on this playtest card. So why, before I go there, guys, what we like to do on the channel is talk about artist proofs, original paintings, and altars. And we usually showcase those in the opening of these shows, which are appropriately long, some might say. Some might say excessively long. It's a matter of perspective. So why would I have the Fields of Camlin here? Because buyouts? Because it's going from $5 to $7 because everyone bought every copy? No. Maybe, but no. Because buyouts. Because sorcery buyouts, where there's no liquidity, there's one source to buy, sell, trade on the secondary market, really. A few single sellers beyond that. So, you got 5 listings on TCG Player, I guess. Maybe 1 or 2 on eBay. And what do you know? Bought out. People buy all 5 copies for $200. And then what? It's worth $220. They list it higher. Snowballs. All of a sudden, it's Apple stock, 2005. Early days. And it just blows up. So, the Fields of Camlin, what do we have here? What we have here is the Arthurian Legends card. Happens to be unique. And what I've noticed, hey, Alara, congrats on the Meadow Witch. The auction is still going, so I hope that does great. I was going to show that, but I got distracted. That often happens. So the Fields of Camlin is a really awesome, interesting artwork by Vasily Ermolayev. Real interesting, unique artist. He's in Russia, so it's very difficult for him to sell things because of the, what do you call it? What do you call it? Where you can't, a lot of things are like shut down. The sanctions, right? With all the stuff that's going on, politics and whatnot. So, you can only deal with, you can't deal with mainstream like PayPal payment and stuff like that. So sometimes shipping can be difficult. That's a big problem internationally right now in general. So he's been working on some artist proofs, and those will be offered in due time eventually. It's going slow. He told me today he has 3 done. And I think he's working on some more, but it takes him a while. He paints on more full scale typically, right? So the smaller stuff is a little different. So you have the Fields of Camlin from Arthurian Legends. It's a unique site where fates are sealed, right? So why are fates sealed? The cool thing about offering these artist proofs and altars from Arthurian Legends is no one's telling the stories, the great lore of Arthurian Legends. Really amazing. Like the company didn't do it. The community really didn't do it. I mean, I saw like 1 or 2 videos like right at release, and then people just abandon it. So the beauty of it is when I auction a card, an altar or an artist proof from Arthurian Legends, I do the research on the card. I've done like several behind the art stories at the Collector Art House website. But when I offer it at auction at the Sorcery Community Facebook group or the Collector Art House Discord, I write up a narrative based on the research of like, what does the card mean? The title, the type line text, the mechanic. It usually tells a story right out of Arthurian lore. So if you look at the Fields of Camlin, this is what I found, right? In Arthurian legend, the Fields of Camlin refers to the location of the Battle of Camlin, King Arthur's final and fatal battle against Mordred. So Sir Mordred is one of the knights. You saw it as the Gilded Knight in Elvira Shakarova's Gilded Knights, right? Her original paintings. Sir Mordred was one of those. And then you also saw it in the Jesse Pilkis artwork, right? So King Arthur's final and fatal battle against Mordred. So why did that happen? This legendary battle marks the end of Arthur's reign, resulted in Mordred's death and Arthur's mortal wounding before he was carried away to Avalon. Avalon's also a card in the game, so there's a lot of connection here. While the exact location of Camlin is uncertain and undisputed, it is generally understood as the site of this climactic and tragic conflict within Arthurian lore, right? So to understand that further, you need to understand the story of Sir Mordred. But before we do that, I want to show a few very interesting things about the Fields of Camlin. So we have the original sketches for that artwork by the great Vasily Ermolayev. And he did 3 of those to really hone the concept. This is typical. A lot of the artists will often do sometimes, like, this is interesting because Vasily, I have a lot of Vasily sketches, and he does it on a full, like, probably an 8x11. I don't know. Maybe he's in Russia. Maybe it's some metric units, like centimeters or something. So I don't know if it's exactly 8x11 inches like we would typically do in the US here. But you have this very interesting sketch, just kind of on a piece of paper here. He worked it out. Sometimes you get like several thumbnail sketches. I've seen Truett Parrish do that, Drew Tucker, some of the others. Some will like lay out the concept like on a full, more full scale like this. So you have the Fields of Camlin, one of the concepts, and then you have a couple of these other ones where he's kind of playing around and filling in some of the detail. And I imagine some of the elements he added, like the birds and stuff, which is kind of interesting. I guess, are these, where did I put that card? Are these like sparrows or vultures, ominous vultures coming in for the dead bodies, just bloodbath everywhere, the blood sky. It's really awesome how he did that. And then here you have some certain things going on. Looks like maybe he was playing with inserting like a flag perhaps up on the hillside. Looks like he went with a tree there, kind of filled in a little more detail with more birds up top. Maybe kind of freestyle that a bit with the paintings because there's definitely some more up around the tree for balance. And then let me see. Yeah, so originally he had one of these like knights just kind of like walking in the background here, but he decided to add 2 battling figures, which I would imagine sometimes like this is where Eric comes in with the art direction and says like, his story is about the betrayal of King Arthur by Sir Mordred, right? So in some renditions of the story, Sir Mordred is a deceitful character, right? In other portrayals, because there's a lot of different versions of Arthurian lore, he is regarded as a hero. So it's kind of interesting how you get those differences across different versions of the story. But here you have the battle of the scene, the Fields of Camlin, a lot of fatalities, and the big betrayal between Sir Mordred and King Arthur, which led to King Arthur's downfall. All right, so why would you talk about the Fields of Camlin? Because we wanted to talk about while I'm talking about this, let me give you something to look at. Well, I still have it before I ship it off. So we're talking about Fields of Camlin. So to understand this story further, we need to talk about the story of Sir Mordred. So Sir Mordred, and let me again with the card of Fields of Camlin. I'm at the Collector Art House website. It says a unique site where fates are sealed. Genesis, each player chooses one of their minions, kill the rest. All right. So if you go off of Vasily's page, you go to Jussi Pilkus's page, because the Gilded Knights by Alvaria Shakarova did not have the text of the game mechanic and some of the other details of the core card. So I need to go to Jussi Pilkus's page to learn about Sir Mordred in card form, and the cards tell the story, right? So let me find Mordred, Sir Mordred. All right. And this is an interesting, pretty powerful card, I believe. I mean, I'm more of a casual type game player. I'm not hyperactive on the competitive scene. Did this auction end? Or I should probably check on that, guys. Hang on a second. 949. 950. Oh, so it did get extended. It got extended to 10. All right, hang on. Auction extended to 10 p.m. Eastern. So it's still live, guys, because we got a bid at 9:49 just before the bell. So in 3 minutes, it'll be 10 o'clock. We'll see if something more comes in to extend that. So going back to Sir Mordred, we have a unique mortal and pretender to the throne, right? So the aspect of deceit that I was talking about, Genesis and Deathrite. Thanks, man. Self-manage the auction, please. I apologize. All right. Is my camera off or is my playmat off? If I do that, I'm like adjusting the camera to the playmat. Might get weird. All right, so unique mortal and pretender to the throne, Genesis and Deathrite kill target adjacent minion. So it comes into play for 6 and 4 threshold, 2 fire, 2 earth. It has 4 power, but when it comes into play, if you got this guy and you got the Sir Mordred, right? So this guy's here, and you drop the Sir Mordred, this guy's dead if he's a minion, right? And then when he dies, another adjacent minion dies, right? So he just kills everything. It's a bloodbath, like the Fields of Camlin, right? Understand the lore there? So why would I talk about Sir Mordred and the Fields of Camlin? Because this is a preview of this week's special painting offer. So a new original painting coming this upcoming week, and it's a really fun, amazing special one because it's a first ever collaboration. And this artist doesn't really sell many of his paintings. In fact, he's extremely difficult to get a hold of. You guys can test it out. Go try to message him, see if he responds. Probably won't. It's kind of funny. I don't know why. Like, because he does. He checks my messages. He responds to me right away. Maybe because I've gotten to know him and stuff. But he usually just doesn't respond. He's like a myth and a legend out there, just kind of like very casual and laid back and doing his own thing. So it's really special. We have a first time ever offer via auction in collaboration, Collector Art House, and the great Jussi Pilkis of Finland with Sir Mordred. So there is the original painting of Sir Mordred, the deceitful character of Arthurian lore who leads the troops into battle in the betrayal and downfall of King Arthur in the Fields of Camlin. So here is your other take on the Fields of Camlin, and that's the story you don't really know until you do the research, right? This scene is from the Fields of Camlin and the carnage that happened there. All the death and bloodshed as Sir Mordred leads these guys into battle, stepping over the bodies, right? Callously. Just coming in. All right, so the story of Sir Mordred in a little more detail. Let's go to some of the facts of that story from what I found here. So, Sir Mordred. Sir Mordred is Arthur's traitorous, illegitimate son, born from an incestuous union with his half-sister, Morgus. So that's Morgana, also done by Jussi Pilkis. He uses different names in some of the story lore. Prophesied to ruin Arthur's kingdom, he becomes a powerful enemy who exposes Queen Guinevere's affair with Lancelot, usurps the throne while Arthur is away, and ultimately mortally wounds Arthur at the Battle of Camlin. Though his role as traitor is his most prominent, his character and parentage vary across legends, with some early Welsh sources portraying him as a hero. So he is the one who mortally wounds King Arthur in the fields or the Battle of Camlin. And there is the story of the Fields of Camlin and Sir Mordred, told through the original art of Sorcery Contested Realm. Sir Mordred, original painting by Jussi Pilkis, and the original sketches of the Fields of Camlin from Arthurian Legends by Vasily Ermolaev. So, really awesome, fun, and interesting, guys. This is also about, 8.5 by 11 in size. So it's pretty similar to Andrina's Meadow Witch, in fact, which is a really nice size again. I think that's a beautiful size because you could frame it up as is and it's practical for any wall, or you could add some additional size by going with a matting and or a thicker frame if you would like to. All right, so got that. And while we are on the subject, let's go with what we're talking about, the beautiful Meadow Witch from Legend CCG by the great, amazingly talented Andrina Jardim of the Alterland. So this is the piece that, is it live for auction? It did get it. Wait a second. We are extended to 1010. All right. Let me type that in. Auction extended to 1010. and we were at $2,828. I realized I probably made a mistake. I should have just had $100 increments, because here we are nickel and diming maybe for the rest of the night. I don't know. I might not go to sleep tonight. So the guys are typically with like altar cards and artist proofs. The increments are $25. So I think what I did is I probably copied pasted some of the like basic rule text that I do for my auctions from one of Andrina's prior altar auctions, and I made $25 increments instead of $100 increments. So people are bidding in $25 increments, and it keeps extending the auction instead of just $100. So apologize to all for that, but a gorgeous painting. This is what is the medium for Sir Mordred? Good question. It's simply done on art paper. I know that much. I got to check with Jesse on what the medium is. I follow up on that. Obviously, I'll probably get some nice pictures of that, post this weekend as a preview, and certainly with the listing, it'll have all the details on exact size and the medium. So there's the Meta Witch from Legend CCG. It's the first painting, debut reveal, published work, to be published work in Legend CCG by Andrina. All right. All right, guys. So what's next? So the other thing we have going on is... All right, hang on a second here, guys. All right, so now we're going to talk about the playtest Eric's Curiosa, right? So this is the big featured weekend auction, and it started at $100 like we typically do. And where are we at with this one, guys? $1,700. All right, so it's at $1,700. And why is this such a big card? Interesting history here. The Eric's Curiosa has a storied history. For one, is the namesake of the game, right? The game, or the company. The company is called Eric's Curiosa, and the game is Sorcery Contested Realm. So this is obviously one of the earliest most versions. It is in a top loader and penny sleeve. You can see the edging is not clean, right? The corners are more rounded. So what's the deal with this card? It was literally an early development playtest card. So as Legend has it, in talking with various folks, you also noticed the copyright symbol, right? So in the pre-alpha era, the copyright symbol was there before they changed that to the alpha symbol, you know? And then in the latter versions, they of the newer sets, they ended up going back to the copyright symbol again, you know, for like Arthurian Legends, where you have, let me see, oh, well, Marta might have painted over it in this case as she signed it again on this altar. But here we go. Here's a Sly Fox. And this Sly Fox, you see the copyright symbol and then the set symbol. So that was a change because I think they realized the right thing to do is to show the copyright symbol on the card. So they found a way to include both the copyright symbol and the set symbol. But in the pre-alpha era, it was just a copyright symbol. So this is one of the first ever known printed playtest cards by Eric in New Zealand. So I detailed in my article what the provenance of this was. This card was sourced from the same person, the same source that the Spellcraft cards came from. So the Spellcraft cards are really, really interesting early development cards where it says Spellcraft on the back before the name Sorcery Contested Realm was decided. It has the same Francesca Beraldo artwork, but there were also these playtest cards. And the provenance of those were akin to the ones that Eric gave initially to Red Zone Rogue. And that's how a lot of you guys, it wasn't the first place I had heard of it, but certainly I discovered that Red Zone Rogue had featured the game very early. So Eric gave him a set of precon decks, which I actually acquired. I have it in my collection. But initially, Eric gave a set, 4 precon decks, the 4 elemental avatars, to Red Zone Rogue to play test the game and give Eric feedback and kind of showcase it on his YouTube channel, which he did. You guys can go to Red Zone Rogue YouTube channel and you can find the cards I'm talking about. They're the same as these, right? You'll find that all the details were the same, the casting cost, the title, kind of like the rough printing, the corner rounding. The mechanic is much different than its final alpha version, the copyright symbol, as I mentioned. So it's a lot of interesting history on these. So there was a set given to Red Zone Rogue, I ended up buying those years later, so I now own that set of the 4 precons. And the COA to authenticate that that's from Red Zone Rogue, received from Eric, who printed them at a local shop in New Zealand before they settled on the final print location, the print company in China that they do the official company printing with. So there was a Red Zone Rogue set. There was a set from someone that Eric had met at a Magic event, and he's like, hey, this was like well before Sorcery debuted. He's like, hey, I'm playing around with this game. Check it out. There's a set of like decks I printed out, just kind of playing with. You can see a lot of the art here that I'm commissioning, all hand painted art. So the guy kept it all these years, and he's been offering some of those. And that's 2 people. There was a friend of Eric's in Sweden, who I've also talked to, and he's been on the social medias a little bit. And am I forgetting someone? I want to say there were 4 people. Yeah, and then the person I sourced this from. So Red Zone Rogue, the guy from the Magic event, the friend of Eric, and then the person that had the Spellcraft and these, who is a author. He works for Flesh and Blood. He's down in New Zealand. He knows Eric. He's worked with Eric in the past. I think with Path of Exile, I want to say either he or his wife. His wife still helps with the game with like editing, cleaning up the text language on the cards and stuff like that. Maybe the website, I'm not sure. But his specialty was the flavor text in the early days. And actually, I have some cards from him, like several playtest cards comparable to these. I could actually show some of those if you guys are interested. Got a few more Spellcraft from him. I think it's the last of what he had. And some really interesting new findings from there. And some big time classics as well of the Spellcraft. And then also a new breed of Spellcraft like or playtest like. They're a little different than anything I've ever shown. But that is the kind of provenance and history behind this Eric's Curiosa. And as you guys have seen me showcase on the channel before, in my personal collection, this is the one that's being offered for auction. So that one is most similar to these 2 from the Red Zone Rogue. There were 2 in that set, right? There was one in the Avatar of Fire playtest set, and then the Avatar of Water deck. And those are 2 copies that I personally own. These are actually in pretty nice, pretty decent condition. Not perfect. The cutting isn't perfectly clean, but you could tell that, Kel from Red Zone Rogue took pretty good care of these. So those are 2 in my personal collection. I own 2. I assume each of the people I just mentioned, this one and 3 other people, each had 2 copies. So perhaps there's 8 copies out there. Although a couple of them, we only know of one that I know of, at least, that they had the 1 copy, like the one that this one was sourced from. I'm not sure that he had 2 when he gave up this one, right? So I'm just assuming maybe he does. And maybe he did originally. Maybe it was lost. I have no idea. But I'm assuming each person got 2, 4 people. This is one of the 4, 8, right? So I said 6 to 8. And that's pretty special from the earliest days. You had the Beta Curio version here. I have all the different variants, right? Another one, these were self-printed by Rafa, who was one of the early developers, first really game designers that Eric hired to help with the game. So we got those 2 copies. You have, what was this one? From the Avatar of Fire Precon sample deck. So this is actually a sample card of Eric's Curiosa. Extremely, extremely rare. These were in the sample deck precons, which is different, from these ones. These were earlier playtest. This was China printed, China factory sample card precon decks, which are very, very rare, only given to a handful of social media influencers. Not me. I was nobody back then. I was just kind of like a guy who was interested in the game, before I started pursuing things and really getting into it. Then you had here a artist proof from Alpha, official artist proof from Alpha, square corners, you can see, very clean and pristine, that I got from my top backing. I was one of the 4 top backers of the Kickstarter, and I had Eric sign that on there. So that's Eric's signature on an Alpha proof. No one else in the world has that signed by him, to my knowledge. So that's kind of a 1 of 1. This is one of the copies for Francesca Berald. So you have Francesca's signature on there, blank back. That's also an artist proof. She painted the back. And for each of them that she's doing for Eric's Curiosa, she selects an element from the Curiosa and she paints that like inspired concept on the artist proof. So mine is the Candle of Consumption. She actually collaborated with Eric Olofsson to come up with names for all of the relics in the Curiosa. So he came up with candle of consumption for this one, and that's what this candle is all about. You know, you have the Alpha Curio, sketch card Curio, and spoiler alert, there's another copy that'll be coming to auction through Collector Art House for that. There's the Beta Curio. This is my personal collection. I'm not selling any of these. Oh no, this is the I guess that's the Alpha non-foil card. And there's the Beta Curio. All right, so that's almost all the variants. Of course, I do not own, sadly, the Swedish one. So I issued a new one. I thought I had them all. I did had them all. I had them all for a period of time, and then he made some more. What can you do? You know, for a minute, I was the guy that was relevant in this world. All right. Got some orders from the old lady. Need some water. All right, what else are we talking about, guys? 40 minutes in. It's early. All right. The stone is paid for. Just got an alert. This one is going off to his forever home or a new collector home. Alpha Foil Philosopher's Stone. Some say that's the Grail. Let me see. We're going to do Pompetti artist proofs. So, if you are in the Collector Art House Patreon, what I do is I try. Do we have another bid on Andrina's painting here? All right, we're at $2,900 on the painting, and all right. So let me see. Auction extends to 10, 20 for now. All right, guys. Yo, what's up, Big Willie Risley? All right, man. All right. All right, guys. Back to the live. So as I was saying, the Collector House Patreon, I try to describe what it's all about, but it's an evolving, living entity, right? I'm always trying to offer new things, new value propositions. Many things come up throughout the year. We just did a big embellished print sale of the Elemental Avatars from Severin Pinel. Sold all those, 15 copies. It was a limited series of 15, sold within a week in the Patreon. So usually I have an exclusive offer window. And for the Patreon, first access priority. Sometimes it all sells out. Usually it does with a very limited embellished print series like that. So that's what happened in this case. If it does not sell out, then I open it up to the public. Same thing happens with certain artist proofs, like when an artist does a bunch, like a big collection of artist proofs, which like Vincent Pompetti did in this case. It'd be cumbersome to auction all of those. So he's after a certain price. He likes to price them a certain way, and then we offer them for direct sale. Most things are auctioned. Sometimes things are offered for direct sale, and we have that opportunity here with a large collection of these are actually mostly, or maybe all in this pile, Arthurian Legends artist proofs from Vincent Pompetti. I do have some alphas left from him too as well, if people are interested. So I wanted to showcase these in the Collector Art House Patreon tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern, noon Eastern time, East Coast, U.S. There will be a post at the Collector Art House Patreon that goes only to paid tier supporter members that shows pictures of all of these cards, list them. The uniques are going to be $400 per card. All of the rarities, $350. So simple pricing, and you're going to see all the pictures, and you can claim, comment against the post, or DM me if people claim the same one. It'll be first come, first serve, right? So if someone direct messages me on Facebook or in the Collector Art House Discord or in Patreon chat, I will compare to other sources, and first come, first serve, we'll get it. I'll confirm once it's awarded to you. But it'll open to Patreon supporters at a minimum through the weekend. So Saturday and Sunday for you guys to review, decide, claim. And then after that, I will open up the post to the free tier Patreon supporters. So initially only pay tier. Then I do free tier. I did that for a big collection that I'm actually offering through consignment for somebody right now. Similarly, we could take a quick look at those of what's left if you would like. And then after I do paid tier, free tier, and then open to the public. So paid tier gets first early access, and they get to to pick the cream of the crop or whatever they love the most, right? So first we have Vivian. So again, this starts at noon tomorrow, and Collector Art has Patreon. These will all be listed. $400 for the uniques, $350. And I'm not going to mince true unique Sirs versus like really an elite. If it says unique on the card, it's a unique pricing, 400. If it's some other rarity, 350. Okay. So Vivian, the Enchantress. That's the first concept. These are all really awesome. He did like a bunch with these patterned backgrounds, which I thought was super cool. Pompetti in the signature style. I showed you guys, I don't know, I have the book over in the closet, but this came out of a published book that he did. So this was actually licensed for Sorcery and not a new work for Sorcery. And that's the artist proof card. You see with the square corners from Arthurian Legends. Only 25 copies of these exist, all blank back, and Vincent painted these on the back. So there are the Vivian, the Enchantress, a major character from Arthurian lore. This one, interestingly, was Vincent's favorite work that he did for Arthurian Legends. You know, the Sir Yvain. He was really happy with how this came out. It's multiple figures here. It's an interesting painting. And this one also has that kind of lattice background, which is really nice. But they're all a little different, right? Some cast the image of the Sir Yvain. And I posted the story about this on the Sorcery community group at one time, why that lion is in there. That was kind of like his side animal. I don't know what the right term is. His sidekick of sorts. Oh, nice. You got the Green Knight there, Paco. Nice, dude. That one is awesome. That's a great artwork by Benson. So, degradation, this is a story about shame, right? Transform a mortal into a foot soldier. So, he's kind of like shamed. So, here he is, like kind of like basking in his agony and shame. Vincent's an Italian man, Italians are expressive. So they express themselves through body language. When you put your chin up like that and you're just like, it's like the anguish of it, the rejection. You're just kind of like basking in the sun, your shadows in the back, and you're just like, I'm a mess. That's why he's hanging his head in shame, right? The original's awesome. I love it. It's got this like cartoonish type nature. This one's really awesome because here is this bold knight figure, but he feels internally, he feels like a little man. He's small, right? Small. He feels small and weak, ashamed. That essence of degradation or shame. Awesome. Joust. This is an amazing action painting that he did for Arthurian. So this is kind of like a action Frazetta type. You were talking about that a bit. He's really inspired by Frazetta, the motion, the Valiant Knights. And there's the last one for Joust. It's got a few copies of those. We got a few copies of Attack by Night. And you'll see these pictures, guys. I'll post them. You could claim this is a preview, so you could watch the video back to get a good look. Start thinking about which ones you want. And when it goes live at noon, it'll be first come, first serve for the paid tier Patreon supporters, so you guys can just grab it up. This is the only Rangominiad that he did. So there it is. I don't want to say it again. Whirlwind. So the guy that bought the original painting also claimed a copy of the Whirlwind artist proof. This one's really awesome. Here's the wizard conjuring up the epic Whirlwind. I love that one. All right, Sir Belvedere. Or no, Bedivere. Belvedere. Sir Bedivere. There he is, man. Nice, colorful piece. He did this one's awesome too with the grail in the back and the lattice again. Here's how did that sneak in there? Captain Baldassare. Unique. This is a banger from Alpha. The Alpha one I got to double check. Those might be 450 from Alpha because those are pretty coveted. And the Captain's like a legend, That's a big time card. So I'll double check on that one. I don't know how that slipped in there because these are all Arthurian Legends otherwise. Here you got Sir Priamus. The Sir with that ribbon background. Again, really love that. Oh, is the auction over? Oh, who tapped out? Conducive? Conductive tapped. Nice, Paco. I saw your message come up. Auction is closed. Wow. So Steamroll, man, I really wanted that painting, dude. If it didn't hit reserve, I was probably just going to buy it, honestly. But man, that Meadow Witch by Andrina Jardim is really special too because I've been working with Andrina for a long time. I really love and admire her work, and she's such an awesome person too. So I wanted to auction it so it could do as best as it could. 2,900 is a good sale. It's her first published piece. I think her works can be very valuable. I really believe in her as an artist, and I think she's going places, man. I think she's going to be huge in Legend CCG. I hope she gets an opportunity in Sorcery, but whether she does or she doesn't, I think she's here to stay, and she's going to get a lot of opportunities because she has brilliant talent and diversity and creative imagination and ability to execute on it. So special artist, that's a special piece. Congrats, man. Absolutely incredible. When that's a piece you should absolutely treasure and cherish. And when you get sick of it, remember me because I'm coming for it. If you get sick of it. The Lady Assault, that's a great piece by Vincent Pompetti. We have, I do need a gavel. That would be sick. I got to get my axe tool too for the break. The Helpful Hob, all these are awesome. The Helpful Hobs are epic. This is such a cool, fun painting, right? We got 4 of the Hobbs. Look at this guy. He's a jovial little bastard, that big nose. He's like an Italian. He's a true Italian with that nose. I don't know about the ears. A little elvish. Italians are not elves, but the nose, we got to breathe. There he is, guys. Oh, these are sick. All right, the Blacksmith family, some of my favorites in this collection here from Pompetti. There's one. I love that flame fire background, man. Such a beautiful background setting. And the second, this guy is hard at work. Look at his stud. All right, we got more bids going on now for the Eric's Curiosa development card. All right, Arc Lightning. We got 2 of these. We got some bangers coming up. All right, so here's the skeleton for the Arc Lightning. Really cool concept there. How the natural white background really pops through. These are a beautiful painting. Oh, okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these. The Wedding Hall. I thought I auctioned 1 or 2 of these, and I might have. But the Wedding Hall, and it did pretty well too, as I recall. These are all really great. These is a really interesting site. Probably underpriced at $350. That might be a mistake. I don't know. 4 yields the 4 threshold, right? So provides no mana, but if Arthur and Guinevere start your turn here, you win. So it's got an interesting condition, right? If they start here, you win. That's insane, right? It does nothing unless you can position Arthur and Guinevere there and just straight up win the freaking game. It's pretty wild. I don't know if people have experimented with that, but if this comes into play, you got to get rid of this guy fast, right? If they show up at the Wedding Hall, it's game over for you. But there she is, beautiful Guinevere. Love this one. With her in the background. Her name. There's the king. He's like, what am I doing here? Getting married? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Whose idea was this? There he is. Pretty sick, guys. All of these are fantastic. Awesome. And the last one here from the Arthurian Legends set. Another one of those guys. All right, so a great set of the Pompetti proofs. Those are all Arthurian Legends. The memes are hilarious. Steamroll. That was a great meme there, Alpha Volcanic. I don't know if he's watching the show. All right. Let me show you what's left from Elvira Palikowska of her colored proofs really quick. We got Mariner's Curse. These are already listed for fixed price. You go, if you are in my Patreon, Collector Art House Patreon, just do a search for Elvira Palikowska. You will find all of these already listed and the pricing for these. There's also a channel in the Collector Art House Discord. If you're interested, can't find it in either place, just direct message me. But these are open to the public now. They already had their early access window on these. So you'll find that there's just certain pieces left. Beautiful, all painted, of course, by Elvira Palikowska. Really awesome, great wall concept. Another one. All right, the battering ram. Here's a battering ram approaching the castle wall, smashing in the castle door. All-terrain vestments. Really awesome concept. Reminds me of the Death's Door. You know, the River Styx is what I was looking for. The background, the Starry Night. Really awesome. Different take on that one. This guy's the guy from Browse, right? Remember? The dude from Browse? The signs on his head? Takes off his helmet from the all-terrain, and he's the dude from Browse. Some of these were like, maybe a lot of these actually were like crossover concepts, cross a couple of her works. So really like blended some concepts. The Landede is really cool. It's a cameo, yeah. Siege Ballista. The company didn't want me to use that term, the cameo proofs. So I was using some early concepts. This was like years ago. And they're like, please don't call it curious. Because I was like, I told you guys when I was showing those sketches of the Vasily Fields of Camlin, the artists would do multiple concepts of the thumbnail sketches and stuff of the pieces and show them to Eric, right? So I did some artist proofs, particularly with Elvira Shakarova, and she had shown she showed me, like, actually I own a lot of her sketches as well. And I saw the other alternate sketches. She actually used those for artist proof paintings when her artist proofs came out. So we called those curio artist proofs, right? And we dropped that terminology, just not confuse the issue, I guess. People are confused. I don't know. All right, guys. Conductive spaced out and blew it. You blew it, man. You blew it. All right. Could have had an Andrina. That's right, man. You can go for the Sir Mordred next week if you want. Oh man, here's a bunch. So we have like a ton of the early sketch concept artist proofs, and I think again the uniques were 400. These were labeled because I brought these to the Courtesan Cup. So I got a bunch of the sketch style. If you guys are interested in that, some like the ink sketch because that's really her like claim to fame. She's done like a lot of art like this. She's a cartographer at heart, and an architect, really, Elvira Palikowska. So she has a lot of these beautiful inked artist proofs, and those were, I think it was 400 for elites and uniques on these, and then maybe it was like 350 for other rarities. So these are all like really awesome, just different, because they're not color painted. Yeah, here you go, 350 for the exceptionals. I don't know. I'm probably not showcasing them super great, but the sketches are freaking awesome. These are all great, She's really amazing at the pen ink sketch. I have a set of these myself too that I purchased from her very early on. Complete set from Alpha. Alpha's real special, guys. To own any Alpha artist proofs for a few $100. If you have a favorite card, if you can afford more to collect a bunch, whatever you can do within your means. I think they're really special to own because there's only 29 copies. There were 25 given to the artist, and then only 4 across the 4 top Kickstarter backers. So I actually have a set of those as well, obviously, as one of the top backers. But these are all fantastic. You can see they're all posted, so I won't belabor too much. A bunch of the Great Wall. Sorry, I'm kind of hastily showing these, but I want to get to some of the other activities we have planned tonight, like the Alpha break. And I don't like to go too far longer than an hour on the intro. It's pretty absurd. I don't know anyone else that intros for an hour before doing a Alpha break. It's a unique channel, man. We have very unique content here. You see a lot of grails on this channel, and you get a lot of stories about the research I've done on the history of the game, the early development, the relics from early development. I mean, a lot of like pop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, less than 10 cards, insanely, amazingly rare. So we got those. I do have another Pompetti box of Alpha. It's posted in my Discord. I won't go through all those. There's Alpha proofs. Probably the last thing I wanted to show you guys really quick is the remainder. And I think this was open to the free tier. Did I make this a public post? I will make this a public Patreon post now this weekend, probably, if I haven't done so already, of the collection I'm selling for somebody. There was Kevmo's sticker that he gave me at Sorcery Con or something. So here we still have like a few. So these are all available for direct sale. Prices are listed in the Collector House Patreon post, which I'll make a public post. I'll probably also post these in the marketplace at fixed pricing. They won't be this set won't be auctioned. I have some other high-end grail type stuff that'll be auctioned, but these are all for direct sale, and you guys can just pick if you want to buy any of these at the listed price. If you want to buy multiple, maybe we can negotiate a little bit. But doing this for consignment for a collector. He had a bunch of duplicates. He's a big time power collector. He also collects in vintage Magic and stuff. So sometimes he moves his collection around, and he was getting a lot of the Power 9 type stuff. So he's letting some of his sorcery go, while also keeping some of his core like alpha foil collection and stuff like that and curios. So we got a beta Eric's Curiosa, the beta Black Obelisk, which is an amazing story. I actually broke this news and found this discovery in the very extensive detailed research I've done on curios on the channel. If you go to collectorarthouse.com and find those articles, in the lower left, I was really like proud and happy. I was the first to notice this. It says Omnipotence, right? Omnipotence. It's kind of small. Omnipotence. Eric's Curiosa 2019 crowdfunded 25,300 art at Dan Seagrave. All right, so this has a lot of interesting relics to it, but it says Omnipotence, and you had co-creator Nick Reynolds talked about that in his first ever YouTube appearance, or one of his first. He's only done a few, so that's a real special curio in my opinion, one I cherish and like a lot because of that history and how he talked about that as like an early kind of like joke between him and Eric card design of one of the early development cards. So we have a Morgana, we have a foil Ring of Morrigan. And then we have a lot of alpha foils, right? These are all for fixed sale. The Kythera is a big highlight. Cloud City's a banger. The Dual, Sight, River Flame. Most of them are unique rarity alpha foils. Everything you see here is alpha foils. Why are there some blanks? Because several of these were claimed within Collector Art House Patreon by supporters during that early access window. But there's still a lot of great cards left. All alpha foils. All right, so that's it. When we look back at archives in the future, do you think the artists in our time will be remembered in fervor, such as the artists who have paved the way into the culture of art as we know? Are you talking about like new artists that we just discovered for the first time through Sorcery? I want to make sure I answer your question. When we look back at the archives in the future, do you think the artists in our time will be remembered in fervor, such as the artists who have paved the way into the culture of art as we know? Are you talking about in the context of sorcery? Sorcery artists that paved the way for sorcery art and the alpha side and stuff like that? I mean, if the game does well, if it's around for a long time, I think we will always remember the alpha artists. They were very special. That set, the set is stunning. It's so stylistically diverse. It was an astonishing feat to really put out a game wholly dedicated to hand painted traditional art when no other game was doing it. No other real project period was doing it on that kind of scale with hundreds of original paintings for a project like that, let alone a TCG. And here you have now Legend CCG. So it's a kind of inspiring this renaissance of dedication and appreciation for hand painted art. So I think that's really special. Is there a Michelangelo in our time? Oh, you're talking about like more broadly, like savant level, like influencer type artists. I don't know. I think like in the art industry in general, there's like some big high profile, um, you know, celebrated artists out there that are influential. But the styles are so different, right? It might be something that art's like so like crazy sometimes, like some, like how you see like the some of the abstract stuff, or some people just think is like weird random junk, but to someone else it's kind of like a stunning masterpiece. I guess like if you don't do art yourself, like sometimes it's hard to appreciate the different styles and stuff. But yeah, I think there's influences in some of those circles, influencers, that maybe are not like as might not be as broadly appreciated in something like a fantasy TCG enthusiast setting. So where are we at with we're at 1776 on the Eric's Curiosa playtest card. So let me update that, guys. 1776. And that one's going to run till Sunday night. Really fascinating. I mean, the Eric's Curiosa, I'm curious what you guys think. I mean, would you say that the Philosopher's Stone and the Eric's Curiosa are the two top most iconic cards in Sorcery? It's kind of a big deal card, you know. I'm sure Eric like absolutely covets the Eric's Curiosa because it's Francesca Berald, who's such a big time great artist, and it's the namesake of the company, right? So it's got special meaning to the game. It's pretty incredible and spectacular. So, all right, did we cover everything we needed to? I think I showcased this last time, but so I showed you the collection that's available for direct sale. There's also a handful of items, additional items that are slated for auction from this consignment collection. So the near miss, there are 2 copies of this. I thought there was only one, but then I saw someone pointed out to me that there's a copy listed, but there's only 2, I believe, known to have been discovered. I actually pulled this on the channel in my own breaks, sample pack breaks, where I've opened over 30 sample packs on the channel. I pulled this copy. At the time, I think it was actually, I guess at the time I thought it was the only copy in the world, and it is in a way. Well, it's the only copy from the alpha Kickstarter packs, right? So I opened the only copy aside from a copy was opened by Team Covenant. You know, they were given a booster box, and then they gave a bunch out with they gave some to their employees. They got to pick one, you know, several of their employees that worked for them. And then with their Arthurian Legends subscription, they included a sample card, and someone got this card, which is unbelievable. It's a Jeff Easley artwork. You know, Jeff Easley. There you go, Fab Rock New York. Jeff Easley is super iconic. Rodney Matthews. I don't know if they're like, you know, Michelangelo is like a crazy ass high bar, but I mean, I think Rodney Matthews is considered one of the top 20 or 50 artists, fantasy artists of our generation, I would say, of our era, like living artists right now. And he's in there with the books, you know, with books like Frazetta Caliber or Boris Vallejo, you know, some of those big time influential artists. So someone we have them in Sorcery. It's amazing. So this coming auction, maybe I got to talk to like a couple major collectors. I'm thinking about how to handle this one because there's I don't know if there's a ton of like super. I know there's a few like really big time high end sample card collectors, but it's not as broad as original painting collectors, like other niche categories. I would say like original paintings, perhaps like alpha foils, alpha curios, that type of thing. Sample cards are kind of its own category. So I may or may not auction that one. We'll see how that goes. This one, Eric's Curiosa Alpha Curio, will come to auction. And then here, so just like the Eric's Curiosa early playtest card, these are also the early playtest versions of the Elemental Avatars. So printed by Eric in New Zealand. Again, extremely rare. We only know of 4 people that have these. I personally have 1 set of these, the Red Zone Road collection that I acquired. So there's only 1 copies of these, obviously, because there was a pre-con deck for each. Avatar of Wind before it changed to Air. And so 4 people. I own 1, me. So you're not going to get mine. And 3 other people, right? So he acquired this from one of those 3 people. And there's 3 others that there's beyond that, 2 others we know of. So 2 in my possession, kind of like literally in my hands right now. 1 is mine. 1 will be offered. And then there'll only be 2 other sets of these early playtest cards of the Elemental Avatars. So some people have inquired about like, hey, I want this one or that one. It's going to be offered as a set of 4. So it's going to be a very high-end auction, pretty pricey, pretty high reserve. But they're so stupidly rare. We only know of 4 that exist in the wild, and who knows what Eric has, you know? Like maybe he had a bunch of playtest ones he was playing with his buddies in like 2020 or something. I don't know. But out there in the public, 4 known copies on record that we know that exist. And yeah, everyone's saying in the chat they should stay together. Totally agree. It's a beautiful set. They're stunning. It's the Severin Pinot art. She's an icon. It's early playtest. I mean, if the game does well over time, that's absolutely unbelievable to own. You know, it's something people are going to cherish. Just like the sample cards, just like all the playtest variants, the spellcraft. A few guys twisted my arm on the spellcraft. I think I've let like a few go, you know, some that I had to because I got some absolute grails that I had to have, you know, unique circumstance. Otherwise, I very rarely sell or trade any of my own stuff. All right, guys, let's get into the alpha break. I think I'm caught up on everything. Let's see. What are we? An hour and 9 minutes in? What's going on in the football game, guys? Who's tracking that one? All right, let me shut down Facebook. Looks like you guys chilled out on the Discord a little bit. All right, let me go to the Wheel of Names. So we're going to need to share that screen for the wheel. Going to give it a little shuffle. I need my axe tool. All right. 18-20? No way, man. Who was the score like that anyway? I think I'm going to put the game on in the background here. I'm actually going to do that. I'll turn the volume off though, don't worry. But I know Dan's watching that game right now. He's a Chiefs fan. He's probably like mortified. Wow, it is 18-20. All right, guys, we're watching this. 8 minutes left in this game. We'll see which game ends first. My break, or I'm literally watching the Chiefs versus the Chargers right now. It's 2025. It's 18-20. I see why you read off the score like that, because it shows the Chiefs first, then the Chargers. But that looked like a late hit, man. He got popped. You got to throw that flag. No flag? All right. There's 7 minutes left. It's a hell of a game, man. I'm missing a big-time game. But we got to be professional about this. Where's that alpha box? All right, guys. Here it is. Got an alpha box right here. We're going to axe tool this bad boy. We got how many people tonight? 7 entries. 7 people on the wheel. Usually people go a little harder and they want like 10. There's usually a few guys that'll go 10 plus packs. But we have a bunch that are at like the 5 level tonight. Some at 8. Some were in last time's break and just wanted to kind of keep the good times rolling. We absolutely crushed last time, if you guys recall. It was a great break. We hit the avatar of Air, was it? In foil? Eric's Curiosa, non-foil. We hit one of the cores non-foil. I think it was Aquamarine. Some of the mixes. 2 alpha uniques. So it was an incredible box. Really exciting. Let's give the wheel a spin finally. All right. Roberto's. Did I spell that right? Roberto's for 6. Oh, I wrote 5 on there. Did he have 6? Okay. Oh, God. Let me just check here, guys. I got to go back to the Discords. Let me make sure he actually had 6. Oh, speed test. Hang on. Going back to the Collector Art House Discord, because I think I printed out. Oh, you're on, dude? Did you have 6? Because I think I printed your label incorrectly, but I put you on the wheel correctly. Roberto's. Yeah, you had 6, dude. My bad. All right, so you did have 6. Last time we did the Elemental Avatars playmat. I think we'll roll with the Philo Stone playmat tonight. But if we do that, we're going to need Leo. Where's Leo? All right, there's Leo. Leo's in the house. We got you for 6 here, dude. Roberto's. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I thought you might be in on that Andrina there, Roberto's. Well, you're more of an Alice Thorne guy, right? I do have some more Alice Thorne paintings coming up. Spoiler alert. Probably not this coming week. This coming week, we're going to do Sir Mordred from Jesse Pilkis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The Sir Mordred, in case you guys are just joining late, here's this week's original painting, Sir Mordred by Jesse Pilkis. It's on art paper, loaded with paint. I think he did a lot of his paintings in that same size and style. Wow, the Chargers have scored again. Heck of a game. Maybe they'll take this one. All right, here we. Oh, we got a foil right off the bat. All right, here we go. We got a troll. It's not a curio troll. We have the Kalki Dragonettes. All right, so an exceptional foil to start us off. Not bad. Not bad at all. Tweak this lighting a little bit. All right, so we're going to need some pennies. We're going to need some top loaders. I'm not sure if it's acrylic. I got to check with him. To see what the medium actually is. I don't know off the cuff. Oh, here we go. Here's some pennies. Gonna need more than that, though. We end up getting a lot of hits. Whole lot of hits. Yeah, I'll hit him up tomorrow if I remember and ask him what the medium is. Obviously, I got to ask him before Sunday night when that goes live. But we'll get the deets on that. The deets. Some top loaders. Yeah, I was excited because I had never seen a Jesse Pilkis original painting yet before that. So he sent me a few because him and Matthias Frisk and Atlas Thorne, ahead of like all this stuff that's going on with Jihad with imports, the de minimis rule, where any import from Europe, if it was under $800, used to not receive import tax when it was coming internationally into the U.S. But the Donald changed that law because he wants to raise some cash to make America great again. I guess. So what happened was he created an absolute shitstorm where I think the customs office is completely overburdened. Because if you can imagine the number, the reason why that rule exists is because it balloons the administrative burden you have to do to verify the declared value and collect that import tax for all those shipments. Just collecting the payments, let alone like verifying declared value, which they probably don't even do. But like collecting the actual import tax on those imports for every little thing coming through below $800, you get like a $5 declared value package, and you got to go collect the tax on that. It just becomes absolutely insane. And I'm sure it's like many millions of packages, right? Maybe daily, like across the country. You gotta imagine at least like hundreds of thousands, right? I don't know how many millions, but it's probably like an order of millions across the U.S. And that's just like an insane administrative burden to have to deal with that. All right, man. So you only got the one foil, but you hit some interesting, good uniques in there. There's your exceptional Kalki Dragon hats, which is funny. The one guy, Kevmo's buddy out in like Seattle, I think he is. He loves that Kalki Dragon hats. But he was getting like super frustrated with Sorcery. I think he might have quit Sorcery. The guy. I forget what he was like all pissed off about. I don't know if it was like the release cycle being annual or delays in releases or just kind of like the erratic supply situation. Something like triggered that guy. He was a funny guy. Interesting character. I met him at Sorcery Con. He's actually a cool, nice guy. I hate to see people leave the game, man. It sucks. So hopefully but it's going to grow a lot, with the SCG events coming up. I think that's going to create a lot of exposure. Gen Con was huge. The Sorcery Community Facebook group is ballooning, man. Ton of people coming in. Koyubi for 5. Let's see where we're at on the community Facebook group, actually. Now you got me curious, guys. Now you got me thinking. So if I go to Facebook, and the community groups had what? 5,348. We had 35 new members this week. Dude, we're growing at like 30 to 40 members a week, which is not bad. It's really growing fast. We just hit, I remember when we hit 5,000 not long ago, and then 5,200 was a big deal. Then 5,300. When we hit 6,000, guys, it's gonna be popping off. I'm adding an original painting to the 6,000 member giveaway. When we hit 6,000 members, we're giving away an alpha box, like bunch of packs from an alpha box, an original painting. We got the bomb Brom, the bomb Brom binders. Those are really cool with the new Brom artwork that's in the Gothic set. Some playmats. I mean, it's going to be a massive giveaway. It's going to be really epic. I'm really excited about that, to share in that celebration of something that I think is really, really important to Sorcery. When we were dealing with these lulls and this like long, just like nothing happening between sets, it was really the hard work of the Sorcery community group and the work of the collective community keeping everybody interested and actively engaged. It was really instrumental in Sorcery's survival and growth, I think. So I want to give back to everyone that worked hard to make that happen, make that such a nice culture and community that we have there. 2, 3, 4, 5. We got a place for Big Willie Risley's memes. A lot of funny stuff. Good times. Like, you get all the releases on a release. You see all the cards there, all the curio discoveries. That's the first place you see everything. Everything's shared there. It's just so much fun. The Collector Art House Discord's awesome too, but I really love the vibe of the community group. I think it's tremendous. All right, guys. 5 packs for Koyubi. We had such good luck last week. Let's see if we can keep it alive. All right, we got a dual site. We got a mix. First mix out of the box. That's pretty hot and exciting. All right. The Humble Village. Beautiful artwork by Modesti. I got to hit up Modesti, man. It's been a while since I talked to my buddy there. I love Andrea. Such a great guy. Amazing artist. I like good people, man. A lot of the artists are great people, in addition to tremendously talented people. Ebbs and flows is a real entity. It makes the world go around. Yeah, dude. It definitely does ebb and flow. The Mountain Giant. So Francesca Barral, you got to sign up for her newsletter, guys. She just did a altar auction. So her artist proof she offers through my auctions, through the Sorcery community group and the Collector Art House Discord. But she actually had time to fit in an altar, which is pretty interesting. Only sold for 200 euros, which is a steal for any kind of work that has original work from, I believe, from Francesca Barral, who's a really, really great, iconic artist. Really influential and impactful in Sorcery Contested Realm, but also like a great cartographer who is has amazing success even beyond Sorcery. Definitely beyond. Oh, we got something nice here, guys. All right, we got the Chimera, who I didn't pull out tonight. We got a beautiful foil Flame Wave, an Elite. All right, so we salvaged it with an Elite foil. Man, that is a nice looking foil. That's got to be a really good looking painting in person. Alan Pollock, man. I own, do I just have one Alan Pollock original painting? I think I own just one Alan Pollock, but dude, he is a master artist. His stuff always looks really great. All right, so not bad for Koyubi. 5 packs, hidden Elite foil, and the mix. Pretty solid. So good on you. Got you right up front there. And next on the wheel will be, give it another shuffle. All right, Ziggly. We got a few people that came in for the break. You know, they probably like have people alert them, be like, "Oh, let me know when he's done with that freaking absurd intro." All right, Ziggly for 5. Ziggly for 5. All right, man. Let's go, Ziggly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, man. Good luck to Ziggly. He was in the break last week. Great collector, Ziggly. All right, so we got a Death Speaker avatar. Really nice. I think we got the Severin. Is that the Severin Autumn Unicorn? All right. First pack foil. We haven't been hitting a lot of foils yet, so I think we're gonna be due here. Might hit some nice action towards the back end of this box. See how this goes. The Autumn Unicorn. I sold that painting. Guy in France bought that one. I wonder what he's been up to. I haven't seen him around and talked to him in a while, but I think he's still in the Sorcery as far as I know. Good dude. It's a beautiful painting, man. Really awesome tone, that one. Oh, was that 4th down steamroll? No way, dude. I actually have the game on in the background here. I'm low-key watching it. I didn't know it was 4th down, though. I'm not watching that closely. It's just interesting because it's waning down, and Chiefs got to score twice. If it was against the Bills, it'd be a done deal. They'd get the onside kick and win the game. What are they down? 9 points? 9 points, is it? Yeah. So they definitely got to get 2 possessions here with very little time. Mahomes trying to make the magic happen, but he only seems to pull it off against Buffalo routinely. Bastard. Where's Agent Paco when you need him? All right, so he's hit. Is this it's an ordinary? Okay. The Scarecrow I actually sold for Lindsay Crumet as well. So we're pulling all the foils of paintings I've sold. Scarecrow's pretty cool, interesting, different paintings. Lindsay's done a lot of diverse, like, interesting stuff in Sorcery. Really wide variety. I own the Seasoned Sellsword original painting. Beautiful painting. The Nimbus Gen. I sold that one. Eric owns the Scenthound, so sad day there. I sold the Bats. I sold the Rimland. Sold a lot of these paintings, guys. It's such an honor to see all these paintings in person. It's amazing. You really get an appreciation for the stylistic diversity, and when you see it, like the actual paint, in person, it's like, wow. I mean, Cloud City, that's a banger. You really appreciate how different these artists are, how unique they all are. All right, Ziggly. So 2 foils, and you had some interesting non-foils too, which I don't pay as much mind to. Not to say they're not good, but I don't know, man. It's either foil, it's not foil, right? What can I say? It's either a painting or it's not. This can't be both. Can't be a thing and not a thing. All right. Back to the wheel. Who do we got left? 4 people. Give it a shuffle and a spin. You love the Scarecrow? It's pretty cool and different for sure. The Blickman? It's Ricardo, the Blickman. All right, Ricardo for 5. And then we got 3 more on the wheel after him. Okay. So Ricardo for 5. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. A lot of 5s. Guys, if you go back to the early archives, when I first started doing breaks, I was breaking a case at a time. Can you imagine a full show? These were like 3 or 4 hour lives, closer to 4 hours. Entire case, 6 boxes. It's insane, man. What was I thinking? I should have I should have slow rolled it too. I probably completely undersold those boxes too, because when prices were a lot lower. So I'm trying to pace myself. I like this pace of 1 box a week. Maybe I would have done 2. I'm open to doing 2 at times when it sells. But you see that again? So I remember talking about it. I sold the bats and the nomads. It's like they come off the sheet in a certain order, right? So I have several of the alpha non-foil sheets, but I also have the all of the alpha foil sheets. Oh, we got the blank. All right. The Crave Golem. What's the story of this game, Steamroll? Were you too busy auctioning to not watch it? Well, what's been... Oh, Mother Nature. Beautiful. What's been going on with this game? Is his offensive line not good enough? Does he not have the receiver weapons? Because I can't imagine Worthy getting injured early was a big factor. I mean, it was a factor in this game, I imagine. But they got to have line problems, and maybe defense isn't as good now. Ooh, Pathfinder. I'll sleeve that guy up. All right, it's not a foil, but that is a solid hit to hit the Pathfinder, because that is actually the one unique avatar from Alpha. Yeah, you got in the background. Yeah, it seems like their offense just wasn't quite clicking, and their defense was getting absolutely shredded all day. The stats from what's his face, the California boy, must be like absolutely nuts in this game. He's been passing a ton too, uncharacteristically for their team. Usually run first. I know you guys love talking football. Maybe we should talk football in these breaks. Yeah, Herbert. You got a great deal on a foil Pathfinder. Is that right, Paco? I had 2 for sale, man. Why didn't you buy it from me? Are the prices too high? Maybe we priced them too high. They're in the list, Paco. Just buy some paintings from me, Paco. Got to expand that collection. I know you're probably targeting certain ones. It's understandable. 300 cheaper? How could that be? Was it free? Is that card even worth $300? Did you get it for free? Maybe you got it for free somehow. Did you steal it? You stole it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Committed to robbery. You jacked that off of Dan's driveway? Did you pick up that card on Dan's driveway? Let's be honest. Seems like we were light on foils. Oh, PSA 10 foil Pathfinder. Oh, you're just saying one sold, just shy of 800. Is that a good sell? I have no idea. Oh, you bought that, Paco? You bought a PSA 10 copy? Is that what you're saying? I'm so confused. I'm selling 2. Weren't there 2 raw copies in that collection I'm offering? I'm not selling it as a collection. You guys can cherry pick. And 1K raw for a foil Pathfinder? Wow. What was my price at in my collection offer? Didn't I have 2 of those in there? Oh, you bought the one on eBay? Yeah, I don't really buy off eBay, believe it or not. It's kind of interesting. I did buy a painting off eBay. Where's if you guys can find 2 Fluent and get them in here, I'll show you the 2 Fluent painting that I bought. I call it a 2 Fluent painting. You guys will see why. It's pretty funny. Maybe that's how we'll close the show. If you guys can track them down. All right, there is the face of the pledge pack. The Elite Planner Gate. That is a nice foil by Liz. I don't know that I've pulled that one before. You don't see that come up much. The Elites are very rare in Alpha. So that's a pretty nice pull for Garen. Garen was on earlier. I don't know if he hung with us long enough to check this out. Jim Harbaugh is a scumbag. Rooting for KC. Isn't this over? Oh, wow. KC's going to get another possession? Oh, my God. Are the Chargers going to blow this with 2 minutes left in classic Bills against Chiefs style? Oh, my God. Gothic will be the new Alpha. Mark my words. Yeah, man. I mean, Gothic's going to be a home run artistically, without question. People are going to be really excited about that. I think the gameplay is going to be amazing. But I don't know if you could ever have a new Alpha This isn't Pokemon, the Pokemon. But is anything first edition Pokemon? And did Justin Herbert just be a hero and put this game on his back? Wow. He just pulled a classic Mahomes. These guys aren't messing around tonight. Mahomes is even smiling. He's like, oh, that. He's like, damn, it was good. It's like, God damn, thought I was going to win that. Kid's good. Kid's good. All right, guarantee. So you got the planner gate, dude. Oh, you're still around. Yeah, the planner's good. Wasn't a home run for you tonight, dude, but at least you got an elite foil. We haven't hit anything crazy yet tonight. So maybe we're due, or maybe like after last week's box, we couldn't pot. Maybe we'll get like a non-foil Philo Stone or something awesome. Wait, when you get to Eric's Curioso, aren't you supposed to get like all the Frizettas? Maybe there'll be a bunch of Frizettas that emerge in this box. I'd love to get like another foil. I pulled a foil Death Dealer on the channel before. All right, Conductive for 5, who missed out on the painting. I don't know if Conductive's watching. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then there should be 8 left. 2. Yeah, I think we should be good. First edition shard bugs. First edition shard bugs. I was thinking first edition Pokemon. What do you guys think of shard bugs? How's shard bugs doing? Are you following that, Paco? Are you a shard bugs guy? Gonna start getting some shard bugs originals? What do you say? You're gonna join the collector? Oh, collector apprentice. Yeah, you'll be the first apprentice. There you go. Everyone loves the pirate ship by Modesti. Or not Modesti, Pompetti. I got to remember to do that Pompetti sale tomorrow. If I forget, guys, hit me up. Be like, bro, it's noon. Where's that sale at? See if I get any sleep tonight. All right, we got a foil finally. Never pulled a... Oh, it's the Elite Crater Eyes. Crater Eyes is nice. All right, this is Conductive. Yeah, remember I showed that major explosion in the Sorcery Community Facebook group this week? The early development card that had the massive splash damage. Really awesome, interesting card with that splash damage effect. So we got a long flight back from Mahomes and Kelsey. Kelsey, no wins since getting engaged. A loser. Crater Eyes. They'll probably win it in the last 2 minutes here because I ran my big mouth. Dan's probably crying into a mountain of booze right now. Yeah, Art House Apprentice, my guy. That's right. Oh, they're kneeling it out? Oh, Dan's got to be like wrecked emotionally and physically. Definitely mentally. Someone tag Dan. Maybe he'll join now. He probably thinks this was over hours ago. Ah, the guy didn't hold contain. You got it. You got to hold the edge. You know, and that one, beautiful painting, guys. Couldn't let it go. Someone sent it to me at auction. I was like, nope. We got to talk. Can't send me on a Modesti and expect it to go up for auction. I don't know if Dan's from KC. He lives in Seattle, but he's definitely a Chiefs fan. Dude, every like foil I'm getting, I'm also getting the non-foil variant now. All right, so it's interesting. Like a lot of people are getting just the one. I thought the Grid Lord I love as a curio. Everyone's getting just the one foil. Elite foil is the trend. So Conductive. All right, so we got one more person left with eight packs. The Chiefs have never won a game this season. Mahomes chewing the life out of his mouthpiece. Why is he a Chiefs fan? No one knows. Is he a bandwagon fan? Well, I like Mahomes. There's no way Dan even likes football, let's be honest. Guy hates football. There's no chance he gives two shits about football. Probably hates Taylor Swift. Hates Kelsey. Maybe just likes Mahomes. Maybe he likes the isn't like Mahomes' brother like a TikTok guru or something like that? He was like dancing with Smith Schuster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for fervor. Mahomes has that pep in his step as he kind of does that shuffle off the field. Aren't they in where? Oh, they're in Brazil. It's my guy Kaio. Wonder if Kaio went to the game. Probably doesn't give two shits about football. Probably cares about football. Oh, the tadpole pool. Speaking of the devil, where is that guy? Oh, the Blink foil. That's only an ordinary? I always forget Blink's only an ordinary because I think as a sample pack, it was a higher rarity. Oh, man, it's such a beautiful work of art by Francesca Berald. People love Blink, and it's a good card, too. That's a beautiful foil, man. A great painting, great foil treatment, and a strong card. What did Hubert? What the hell was this guy? You called him Hubert earlier. I think his name's Herbert. Did he just throw for like 600 yards? How many yards did he throw on these clowns? He absolutely torched these clowns. Dan loves frogs and his children. He's a simple man. Yeah, I guess so. He hates losing. He's going to be pissed later. He's going to be talking trash. Watch him come in angry. All right. The dual oasis. Yawning here. Put him to sleep here. Herbert at 318. That's it. Didn't even hit 400 yards. What a schlub. Absolute schlub. How do you hit 318 yards when you're throwing dimes all day, gashing these guys? The boss troll. Oh, you know what? I didn't show you guys the new spellcraft that I found. Or discovered. Acquired. The guy with the playtest. And the new findings. Should I show that? I said I would. But, we haven't even gone 2 hours yet. It's not even 3 or 4 hours. The Skirmishers of Mew. What a painting. Hang on. Focus. There we go. Wow. Dude, that's a great Modesty. Love that. That's a great artwork. Modesty's the man. I don't own a Modesty, believe it or not. It's one of the first artists I work with. Him, Elvira Shakarova, and Severin Pinot. Some of the very first that I worked with in Sorcery. Trying to remember who was the actual first. It was definitely those three. Pretty certain on that much. Worked with like almost every Sorcery artist. Sorcery Alpha artist. Some of the new ones too. Remember the Hot Wheel guys? Will, you know. Will up in there in this chat? Not Big Willie Risley. Talking about Will Jackson. It was the the Queen. Hey, there's the Shifting Sands. I think I have a Spellcraft variant, the Kaio version. Was it Spellcraft or Playtest? Might have been Playtest on that one. Because that was in the Red Zone Rogue precons, Playtest precons. There's an artwork of a Shifting Sands that Kyle Calzins did. And it was not used in Alpha. The Major Explosion. The Vasily version was used. Yeah, that we just saw. Not the Kyle version. Oh! The Watchtower from Jeff. Another beautiful artwork. Exceptional foil. What kind of bug is that? Get out of here with that. What is that? What is that? Gnat? What is that? Is that a mosquito? Son of a bitch. Like a mosquito up in here. Bastards. Oh, shit. I wonder if I could kill his ass. Should I kill him with a penny? I don't need these red pennies. I'll kill his ass with a penny sleeve. Die, son. Get his ass. Ha! He's limping. I wounded him. I wounded him. He was trying to fight it. He went down eventually. I got him. I wounded his ass. And I put him out of his misery. All right. Will I need another top loader? We're on the very last pack, guys. We didn't get anything crazy. We didn't get anything crazy in this box. We're due, man, in the next one. We were too spoiled on that first one. We got a bunch of elites, exceptionals, a couple ordinaries. Did we get any, like, banger non-foils? Cloud City? Anything else interesting? All right, we got a foil. All right, we got an exceptional Clamor of Harpies. So we got a few foils from Francesca Berald tonight. I want to say if we hit the Eric's Curiosa non-foil, I think we're due for some Frazettas in this case. You should start a collection of bugs. You killed during streams. Who's Body Pig? What are you saying yes to there, Body Pig? What was the question you're saying yes to? What kind of name is that? Body Pig. What are you saying yes to? You want to see my spellcraft? Is that what you're talking about? Or should we just end this? Put ourselves out of our misery. All right, so we hit 3 exceptionals and an ordinary in 8 packs. It's not bad. 4 foils in 8 packs. Oh, the top loader. Man, this alpha set was something else, dude. What a set. All right. Just tossed 3 cards across the room. Just dropped another one. Talking about bugs. Should I show these spellcraft? I said I would. I said I would. Do you guys want to see it or not? That's the question. Or we could just end it. It's 11:20. It's not like insanely late, but it's kind of late. My name is a reference to the pigs that were in the movie Snatch. Oh, yeah. The Body Pig. Dude, it's been a long time since I've seen Snatch. That's old school. I bet some of the guys watching the stream weren't even alive when that movie was out. Because if you think about it, man, when was that out? Like early 2000s? Time goes by fast. Dude, you never seen Snatch, Agent Paco? That's because you're like 13 years old, Paco. Oh, Clinton Kelly. I didn't know you were out there. You drew everybody out with that comment. Yeah, that was a classic. That was like prime Brad Pitt. Now he's kind of old and I guess he's like still cool. He's not. He didn't get like too weird, you know. Some of these actors get old and weird. All right, you guys want to see some spellcraft? The new spellcraft. Morticor's out there. I don't know what he's laughing about. Because I said he's cool. All right, there's the Mordred, Sir Mordred. Speaking of Brad, you just watched 7 for the first time? Damn, dude. Is it because I called Paco a teenager? Paco weighs like 70 pounds. He's like, I don't know if I should say. I might get demonetized if I say the truth about Paco. It might be too fucked up to say. I don't know if I don't know. I was gonna compare you to someone who was ill in his latter days. But I know you're healthy, Paco. I know you're doing all right. You got that high energy. That much is for sure. All right, so the Sir Mordred becoming Sunday night to Friday night. What do you guys think of these auctions? Are they too long? It feels like the final hour is all that matters sometimes. It's like the opening hour and then the final hour. And then the 5 days in between is just kind of like, oh, yeah. I don't know. Maybe people are raising cash and stuff. I like to allow people a week to kind of figure it out, see if they want to raise cash, see if they want to bid, you know, that kind of thing. He's just lanky. He's not going to be dead soon. All right. That's a good update there, Paco. Appreciate it. All right, guys. Here's some spellcraft. The good news is probably going to see Paco outlive Itza. So that's always good. It should be useful, especially since Paco is the favored judge. He's the judge that actually gets opportunities, gets to go to events. You know. All right, guys. Here they are. Here's some new ones. This whole page, new discovery. Look at these banger new spellcraft. All right, first of all, first ever seen, I believe. And it's pretty iconic, you know, because it's like a homage to Magic the Gathering. So spellcraft. Yeah, this is my personal collection here, Paco, of the spellcrafts. This is Sinkhole spellcraft version, which is pretty insane. Because Mikhail is Dan's Lord, if Dan is still with us after that Chiefs game. Just highly suspect. We don't know. We don't know if he is or he isn't. Once there was a unique site in this location. There's no way that's what the spellcraft, that's what the sinkhole still says. There's no chance that's what it still says. I gotta look it up now. Why is my computer lagging? What does sinkhole say for the typeline text? All right, hang on. Is this your first time seeing the channel there, Paco? I've showcased my spellcraft collection before. All right, sinkhole. But I did acquire some new ones recently. So it's pretty... And the sinkhole's pretty iconic, I would say. That's a big card. Oh, an elite site of impending collapse. Dude, look at this typeline text on this sinkhole. Once there was a unique site in this location. What was Eric a poet? Before he went to Alpha Print? Listen to the poetry of that. Once there was a unique site in this location. That's actually pretty funny. Because there's a sinkhole. So you had a unique site. Now you just have a hole. Ah, man. An elite site of impending collapse. Sacrifice. All right, so the mechanic says at your turn start, very awkward English, so clearly written by Eric. At your turn start, destroy the sinkhole and the nearby site. All right, so you refine that significantly. Sacrifice sinkhole, destroy nearby site. At your turn start. At your turn start. That's even hard to think about, let alone say. Eric's a wild man. It's a wild individual. Here's a banger, guys. Why? Because I was talking about the legendary artist, living artist, Rodney. It's like 80 years old, guys. Absolute legend, Dwarven Forge by Rodney Matthews. Never seen before. I don't know if this has ever been seen before, even in like a digital version. I'm trying to think if it ever has. I'd have to research that. But this is a very, very, perhaps the earliest ever Dwarven Forge. A site with uniquely greedy inhabitants. So it was a unique, guys. It was a unique. We know it was not a unique in Alpha. Relics played here cost 3 mana less, but you take 3 damage when one is played. Wow. So you just play the ring for free. It owes you mana. If you play the ring on this site, it owes you mana. You get more. That's unbelievable. So if I look at, of course, the great, amazing Rodney Matthews only had 1 card in Alpha, and it was the Dwarven Forge. It was an elite site, with swart and sweaty artisans. I like that. Artisans. Anyone may conjure weapons and armor here, and for 1 less. Wow, what a dramatically different card. Relics played here cost 3 mana less, but you take 3 damage when 1 is played. Dude, the Dwarven Forge. A site with uniquely greedy inhabitants. That's a grail. All right, so then we have, I acquired a whole new land cycle. So this is pretty amazing, guys, and really exciting for me. So I had I had the Tower Spellcraft Cycle, one of each of the towers, the Desert Cycle, and now the Modesty Cycle, which, of course, I absolutely cherish because I love Modesty. Also acquired 3 of the Hills, not the Vantage Hills, as it was known in Alpha, but it was Hills in Spellcraft prior. 2 of the Holy Ground, and I remember we only thought there was one Holy Ground. There was only one for a time that we had known to be discovered, and now I acquired 2 of these. I want to check. We auctioned a Holy Ground at the Sorcery Community Facebook group, so that's what I'm looking up here. It was called Silent Sanctuary once upon a time. What did that Holy Ground sell for? Do you guys remember what the Spellcraft Holy Ground sold for? What's up? What's up, Jimmy? Want me to recap the show for you, pal? Just popping in? All right, guys. What did the Spellcraft Holy Ground go for? Who knows these things? There you go. Sleep, guys. Almost live. All right. What are we doing here? Not finding it. It's a needle in a haystack. There's so many posts in the community group. It'd take me a lifetime to find this thing. A lifetime. Huh. But people keep on. Oh. Oh. Huh. I don't know, guys. Oh. No. Were you watching the game, Jimmy? I know Dan's mortified. All right, guys. There, I was talking about how I have a set of the Elvira Palikowska artist proofs. Also have the half-size... Are these Spellcraft? I think they're Spellcraft. The half-size Foot Soldier tokens. Yeah, they're Spellcraft. Forgot about those tokens. Got 5 of those. I also got some playtest of those. All right, let me see what else I got in here, guys. Hang on. Some Dusty. Yeah, I put them back here. All right, guys. A whole new finding. Pick one. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Pick a number from 1 to 11, and I'll reveal one card tonight before we call it quits on tonight's show. 1 through 11. We're going to find out what are these cards. They're not artist proof cards. They look like they are, right? All right, first answer is Niner. Maybe let's go with the first answer. I could average the numbers. We got a 957. 5's interesting because it's right in the middle. I'll go with 9 since it was said first. What kind of workmanship is this? Well, it's stuck in there, guys. Doesn't want to come out. The C's are angry, my friend. Oh, there we go. All right. So here we have, it's really interesting. Blank back. Early playtest. Village. You notice something here? Square corners, just like the Spellcraft. The Spellcraft were rounded like that. They had the rounding of where the card should be ideally cut. But they were not cut like that. They were cut square. And normally you would have Spellcraft on the back. But 11 of these are blank backs. So it's a whole new discovery that we've never seen before of mysterious origin. And they are from the same provenance of Spellcraft and of early playtest cards, just like the Eric's Curiosa that you see up for auction this weekend. So Yeah, the block's supposed to be cut off. Right. Yeah. So that's the template from like an uncut sheet, and you're supposed to cut the rounding. But these are essentially spellcraft with blank backs. So I think this is from an era before Sorcery Contested Realm was decided, because they're from the same person that had the playtest. The earliest playtest is a guy like first guy to consult with the company, working with Eric, help him with the flavor text, right? And he had the playtest cards, the spellcraft cards, and now these blank backs, which are very interesting. And you see, it was called Village, just like it was in the Red Zone Rogue cards, the Red Zone Rogue pre-con playtest that Eric printed in New Zealand. So these are printed by Eric in New Zealand. There's a copyright symbol, art copyright Andrea Modesti. Village, an ordinary site of fertile earth. Discovery. See the early mechanic? Add a foot soldier with 1 power here. So the discovery mechanic, have we seen that on Curios? I'm blanking now off the cuff. But if I go to the Collector Art House website and the Andrea Modesti page, the village, this is the rust. I always get these mixed up. It's a simple village, not the rustic village. An ordinary site of fecundity. Love that. This is a site of fertile earth, but they changed it to fecundity. And it's a Genesis mechanic. So this was an early Genesis mechanic that became Discovery instead of Genesis. Add a foot soldier with 1 power here. Amazing. Really fascinating early development card. Let me show you. All right, I do have some other early development cards. Not like the Curiosa high-end Grail there. My OG prints and plays were like that, and I used hole punchers to help around the corners when I was print and playing this playtest. Yeah. So I have playtest of the foot soldiers, half size. Got a bunch of those. Let's see. I had a few decks worth of early. So I had the Red Zone Rogue precons, and I believe that's what these must have been too. Early playtest from the same guy that had the playtest and the spellcraft. And in fact, I know these are the same provenance of the Red Zone Rogue, because a lot of the cards are exactly the same, right? It was this larger text. It was the different titles, the different casting costs, the same mechanics, flavor text, type line text change. Really interesting. Let me find an interesting. Yeah, the zero to cast lightning bolt mechanic, the ball lightning, which I believe didn't make it, right? Is this the one that came out in Arthurian and not Alpha? The Cerberus. Let me see. We had some with the quick mechanic. What? And then see, like, so he had signed here. I had him sign for Provenance on these early playtests, Ed. So a bunch of these. I had him sign the ones where he wrote the flavor text. That's what's really interesting about this. So in many cases, Eric and or Nick Reynolds changed the flavor text, but Ed wrote this one. Upon our souls they dance, a gentle ballad of hopes and dreams. All right, so if I go to Asi Haikala's, let's go check out Asi's. Yeah, okay. So Ed wrote this. Upon our souls they dance, a gentle ballad of hopes and dreams. I love that. It's beautiful. So what he changed it to, and for Alpha, was before woman was, the water awaited her. What does that mean? What does that even mean? All right, let's see what else he came up with. This guy's a great writer. You can run, but you cannot hide. The Hounds. What happened with the Hounds of Endurance? I know he was like a little disappointed that like a lot of his early flavor text work was like redone ultimately. Of course, Eric crushed me on this too, where he used one of my suggestions on the Sleep card by Severin Pinel, and then ultimately changed it for Alpha. So I always dreamed that would become like a curio, right? A curio, maybe in a revised set. I was hoping in beta, but didn't happen. So whatever. All right, Hounds of Endurance. You can run, but you can't hide. You cannot hide. They changed that to from Hell's Heart they stab at thee. I don't know, man. A little too poetic for my liking on that one. The Peregrine Apparition. The Truly Sublime, No Bounds. All right, not bad. Not bad. And it's very fitting for the card, I would say, and the card artwork. And it's an apparition. It's pretty solid, actually. So where's Adam Burke? The Truly Sublime, No Bounds. Okay, so he wrote that and it persevered into Alpha. It's great. The last free land lies under the sea. I got to take some time and enjoy his flavor text. I haven't really explored these in great detail just yet. I haven't had time to do so. I think I want to do that on my own time, personally, a bit. Maybe as I find some interesting findings like this right here. This is the Curio, guys. This is a play test. But you notice it's the Curio because you see the shadow figure on the left. In the alpha version, they really zoomed in and you lose perspective on that shadow figure. So, and that actually came to be in a very early interview I did with Brian Smith, where he showed me the original painting and I noticed the extra shadow figure. So, you know, that one actually is a little more zoomed. I think the Curio, it has a little more zoomed out perspective. Ooh, the Cave Trolls, that's a big one. The Doomsday Device and Playtest. Was that a unique? Yeah, it was a unique. Even those early days. Yeah, these are pretty fascinating. Remember, this was right out of the Red Zone Rogue kit, the precon. So this is like another set of precons. Man, that's pretty amazing. All these playtest cards. These are extremely rares, only a few that we know of. Out in the wild. And yeah, I just have like a really insane historic collection here. History of Sorcery. So we'll do showcases on the show at times. Maybe have a showcase exhibition someday. We'll see. From Hell's Heart I stab at thee. For hate's sake, I spit my last breath at thee. Oh, that's from Moby Dick? Not bad, Big Willie. Cultured individual. No wonder you're so clutch with the memes. All right, guys. I'm kind of burnt out and tired. Long week. Appreciate you guys. We had 4 auctions ending tonight. We had the Bog is going to be 300 if anyone wants to claim that, and I will give you the sample print of the first ever playmat of Pond by Sam McKinnon. With this, if you guys want to claim this card for 300, this altar. We got the Philo Stone sold tonight, Alpha Foil. So I'll be shipping that off in the next couple of days. And we have this guy up for auction now, the Eric's Curioso playtest. Really interesting history there. And the Meta Witch by Andrina Jardim. Great sale there. And the Cursed Iron. So I got a couple paintings to send out this weekend. So thank you guys all for tuning in. Thank you for your interest. Thank you for supporting the great artists of Sorcery Contested Realm and Legend CCG and Altarists around the game. So we'll have some Atlas Thorn originals coming. We'll have the Sir Mordred from Jesse Pilkus this week. And probably at least one painting per week for a while. There'll be a lot of great offers. Please join the Sorcery Community Facebook group, the Collector Art House Discord. You can find the links in my link tree or the various direct links that I include in all of my videos. Yeah, it's a pleasure for me to do these openings. So thanks, Nick. I love to do it. Friday night lives are a lot of fun. Appreciate you guys' interest. And hope you have a great weekend. And we will see you soon. Take care, everybody.